Delhi Tower, Victor Tango Sierra Alpha Hotel. Pre-flight radio check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How do you read?
Victor Tango Sierra Alpha Hotel, Chennai Tower. Read you 5. How do you read?
Radio 5, Strength 5, Victor Tango Sierra Alpha Hotel. Pre-flight radio check.
Students, no more calls. Nobody's practicing. All stations, all stations. Delhi ground. One, two, three, four, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How do you read? All stations, Mumbai ground. Correction, all stations, Delhi ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How do you read?
Delhi ground, Victor Tango, Sierra Juliet Lima, read you 5, strength 5. How do you read?
Victor Tango Sierra Juliet Lima, Delhi ground. Read you 5.
Read you 5, Victor Tango, Sierra Juliet Lima.
Delhi ground, Victor Tango Romeo Bravo Victor. Read you 5. How do you read?
Victor Tango Romeo Bravo Victor, Delhi ground. Read you 5.
Delhi
Read
ground,
you 5, Victor Tango Romeo Bravo Victor.
Delhi ground, Victor Tango Hotel Romeo Kilo. Read you 5. How do you read?
Station calling Delhi ground. Say again call sign.
Delhi ground, Victor Tango Hotel Romeo Kilo. Read you 5. How do you read?
Victor Tango Hotel Romeo Kilo. Delhi ground. Read you 5.
Read you 5. Victor Tango Hotel Romeo Kilo.
Delhi ground. Victor Tango Charlie Bravo Lima. Read you 5. How do you read?
Victor Tango Charlie Bravo Lima. Delhi ground. Read you 5. Primary 88908. Secondary 750405.
Read you 5. Primary 88908. Say again secondary.
And who will end with the call sign?
Correction. Read you 5. Primary 88908. Say again secondary. Victor Tango Charlie Bravo Lima.
Very good. Not bad.
Delhi
But
gra-
students, remember you have to end your calls with the call sign whenever you are replying. Good, not bad. Carry on, students.
Delhi ground. Victor Tango November Kilo Charlie. Read you 5. How do you read?
Victor Tango November Kilo Charlie. Delhi ground. Radio 5. Primary 878405. Secondary 757071.
Delhi ground. Victor Tango November Kilo Charlie. Primary 78405. Secondary 75701.
Okay, so who is giving this reply to me? I am not sure. Why am I not sure? Because you didn't end with your call sign. So see, students, this is good practice. We should know that whenever we have a continuous conversation like this, a transmission and a reply, then definitely we have to ensure that we end with our call signs. So Nukul, please complete the call. Give me correct call.
Delhi ground. Primary 878405. Secondary 75701. Victor Tango November Kilo Charlie.
Victor Tango November Kilo Charlie. Delhi ground. Roger. Very good, students. Very good morning. Very good morning on a weekend class. It's one of the second weekend classes. And I'm very happy to see that we are, I think, how many? 10 of y'all. So a few people are busy, occupied, and this and that. But very nice. Today's agenda is very simple. Today, I'm going to give you all do's and don'ts on your part 1 and part 2. Okay. These important techniques you have to remember so that you can use those techniques in your mocks with me that are scheduled. Okay. So as per the flow chart that we have with respect to your examinations, Harsim, I'm not sure, Harsim is not there in class, right? So I've not heard from Harsim. I'll check. After that, I think the first person for exam after Harsim is Hardik. So yeah, Nukul. Tell me, Nukul, what's up?
Sir, I think it's my chance
When is
after
your exam?
Prayam. Sir, on 10th September.
10th. After
Yes.
Priyam, yes. No, I'm talking about 30th exams, and then after
Okay,
30th we have third, then we have sixth, then seventh and eighth, and then we have 10th,
Affirms.
and then we have Karan, then we have Pooja, Sharvari, and then Jyotsna. Pooja, right? 14th, right? Sharvari is not there in class. Sahana is not there. Sushma is not there. Where's Pooja? Pooja hasn't joined, I guess. Yeah, Pooja is there. Good. So other students who have not given me a response for the readability check. See, what did I say? I said all stations, all stations. What does it mean? All the stations who are tuned to my frequency. Whose frequency? Delhi ground. So ideally, you all can listen to me. It means you all are tuned to my frequency. So when I say all stations, Delhi ground, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How do you read? It means I'm doing a collective radio check with you all, a readability check or a radio check. So you all have to reply. So Lima Romeo Charlie didn't reply. Yankee Yankee Zulu didn't reply. Papa Kilo Mike didn't reply. And Josna joined in a little late. It's okay. You can do it later. So Yankee Yankee Zulu, Lima Romeo Charlie, Papa Kilo Mike, no reply. How do you read stations? Please give me a read back. We are doing a live session after a couple of days, right? So it's required we do a pre-flight check before we get started, right?
Mumbai ground, Victor Tango Lima Romeo Charlie, Radio 5. How do you read?
Victor Tango, Lima, Romeo, Charlie. Remember, you have to also write when you're taking the call. That's the whole point. So with your rate of speech, Vignesh, I understand you are not writing it. Right? So please write. Pooja, no readability check. Likit, no readability check. What's going on? I'm not sure if you all are there or not. Others I know they're there. Jyotsna, how do you read? So the call was all stations, all stations. Yeah, the call was all stations, all stations. Mumbai, Delhi Tower, correction, Delhi ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How do you read? I need a response to that call from each station. That's the idea. So Vignesh, a response to this. So you write this call. When I gave this call, you have to write that call and then you have to give me a response of that call. So Pooja, Vishnu, Jyotsna, Likhit, please do it. And then we'll get started, right? Other replies are absolutely good. Wait, Likhit. Everyone who gave me a reply was absolutely good. Very good. So I feel very confident. Others who have not done it, come on, please do it.
Delhi ground, Victor Tango Lima Romeo Charlie, Radio 5. How do you read?
Victor Tango, Lima, Romeo, Charlie, Delhi ground, Radio 5. Primary 889er8. Secondary 757405.
Radio 5, Primary 88908. Say again, secondary, Victor Tango Lima Romeo Charlie.
Victor Tango, Lima, Romeo, Charlie, right? Okay. Victor Tango, Lima, Romeo, Charlie, Delhi ground. I say again, secondary 707405.
Delhi ground, secondary 707405, Victor Tango Lima Romeo Charlie.
Very good. Vignesh, when you're saying your call sign, when you're speaking your call sign, make sure that you read it out correctly. Victor Tango, Lima, Romeo, Charlie. Remember, students, your call signs are very important because a wrong person in aviation cannot get a wrong message because that wrong message can lead you to an accident, an unfortunate incident. See, sometimes when we are calling a few people, then we sometimes have cross connections, right? Those cross connections, do we give our transaction details or personal details to those people? We don't. We realize, okay, it's not the person I'm talking to. And I say, sorry, wrong number. In aviation, the same thing happens, but we don't talk in these terms. So how do we verify that we are not talking to someone else, especially when everybody's voice over radio sounds the same? The modulation, the transmission is not that good as we have in mobile phone connection or telephone lines. It's different. The waves that we use are low frequency waves. VHF and HF is not that high. And they are not as high as mobile phone frequencies anyway. So you have to understand, you have to read your call signs clearly, carefully. You have to read their call signs clearly, carefully. It's rule number one. Very good call, Vignesh. Very happy to see your call. Very nicely said. Everyone gave me a good call. Quickly, 3 more students left. Finish your calls. And let's get started with today's agenda.
Delhi ground, Victor Tango, Yankee Zulu, read you 5. How do you read?
Victor, Tango, Yankee, Zulu. Delhi ground. Read you 5. Primary 707677. Secondary 8088.
Primary 707677. Secondary 8088. Victor Tango, Yankee Zulu.
A very good reply, Likhit. Likhit, were you writing the call?
Perform, sir.
Good rate of speech. Fast enough, not too slow, not too fast. Send me a picture. Students, all of you all send me a picture of your calls. So far, so good. 2 more students left. Keep it up.
Delhi ground. Read you 5. How do you read? Victor Tango Juliet Yankee Oscar.
Victor, Tango, Juliet, Yankee, Oscar. Delhi ground. Read you 5. How do you read?
Read you 5. Send 5. Victor Tango Juliet Yankee Oscar.
Okay, Jyotsna, very good. Jyotsna, tell me, what is the technique that you are using? Are you speaking and then writing?
The first writing and then speaking.
First writing and then speaking. Okay. So I'm sensing a small gap in your continuity when you're saying different words. So it seems like there's a little gap. It's not going to be an error, but still we will work on that gap. So you need to have that continuity. So try to give that call again live, but make sure that whenever you're saying 2 words or 3 words like Mumbai, Delhi ground, Victor, Tango, Juliet, Yankee, Oscar. So try to make sure that the gap between the 2 words is very less. Just try that once again, Jyotsna. A live call, okay?
Affirmative. Delhi ground. Read you 5. How do you read?
Very good. So, Jyotsna, what do you do? When you begin, when you write something, let's say your first words in the call are Delhi ground. Okay. So let's say you are saying Delhi ground like this. By the way, Vignesh, RBV Vignesh. Okay. I'm talking about Victor Tango Romeo Bravo Victor. Vignesh, left side is pilot, transmission. Right side is reception. What's the confusion? I think you gave me the opposite.
Yeah, as soon as you started telling, I started writing the left corner. That is so.
Yeah. So make sure whatever you transmit. So when I am the ATC, even if I'm transmitting, if I'm the ATC, I'll write on the right side. And whatever you as students are giving me practice calls, I'll do on the left side. Sometimes when I am simulating a pilot's call, then I'll do it on the left side. Then I'm not an ATC. So TX means transmission. It's the pilot. It's the PIC over here. And this could be another aircraft or ATC. Simple. Any station, depending from question to question. Okay. Coming back, Jyotsna, what I think is that you have good rate of speech. But in the beginning, in just 3 words, I could make out that when you are starting, so when you write Delhi ground, so don't just start speaking when you write. So it becomes like this. Delhi ground. So by then I have said ground. I have not yet finished writing ground. So I think that's the gap initially. So what we can do is first you write like this. Delhi ground. Victor Tango Juliet Yankee Oscar. Read you 5. How do you read? Still, I said read a little early, but still, I hope you get a gist of that. So just start writing and then start speaking. Don't instantly write and speak. Give yourself a couple of seconds lead in writing speed and then start speaking. Try that once more.
Delhi ground. Victor Tango Juliet Yankee Oscar. Read you 5. How do you read?
Excellent. Were you able to write it, Jyotsna?
Affirmative.
Very good. Very good. See, very nice. This sounds very good. Good effort. I know it's not very easy, but if you all are able to do it, then it's excellent. Good. Very nice. Keep it up. So I think Pooja and Ayush, please do your readability checks quickly. Pooja, are you there? Pooja, no response from you.
Mumbai ground. Victor Tango Alpha Yankee uniform. Read you 5. How do you read?
Victor Tango Alpha Yankee uniform. Delhi ground. Read you 4. How do you read?
Read you 4. Strength 5. Victor Tango Alpha Yankee uniform.
Very good. So from where I see, I can hear you 4, but you can hear me 5. So that is very good. Well said. Ayush, but make sure when you say Victor Tango Alpha Yankee uniform, the uniform is not diminished. Generally, you try to simulate a realistic pilot's call. So what happens is you just try to, faint it out in the end, but that's not right. Victor Tango Alpha Yankee uniform, like that. The final word you say, your call sign or anything in your call, that should also sound loud. It should not sound like, it should not gradually fade away. Okay, students, remember that. Very nice. Victor Tango Papa Kilo Mike, Delhi ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How do you read?
Delhi ground. Victor Tango Papa Kilo Mike. Read you 5. How do you read?
Victor Tango Papa Kilo Mike. Delhi ground. Read you 5. Primary 88908. Secondary 717274.
Read you 5. Primary 8898. Secondary 717274. Victor Tango Papa Kilo Mike.
Wonderful job, Pooja. Very good. I'm very happy to see all your calls. Pooja, were you able to write it? If yes, send me a picture. Very nice. Jyotna, you also send me a picture. Everyone send me a picture of your calls. If you have written it live. If you have not written it live, then don't send me a picture. Simple. Okay. Very nice, Pooja. Very nice, everyone. And very happy to see that you have developed such good fluency. Hardik, when do you want to do your mock? And Sahil, when we do your next mock? After that, we have Sajal, and then definitely we have Priyam, and we have Tripti. So Tripti is someone who's working like 6 days a week. So she's not getting chance to attend a live class. So yeah, but so yeah, that's something that students are struggling with, job and this and that. But yeah. After that, we have Sharad and Nakul. Then we have Karan and then Pooja. So Karan, I think, is back to his flying school. So he's not getting time to study anymore. And I think after that we have Pooja. And with Pooja, we have one more person. I think Sharvari, right? See, it's good to have in memory now because I think the final preps should be done before your exams only now. We should not delay it anymore. Yeah. And then we have finally Jyots now. Good. So every person has an equal opportunity to give your best shot to try to clear in your first attempt. All right. I did not get a positive response from Vishnu, but I didn't get any more information also because he said, sir, I'll get back to you. But he said, sir, I didn't have a good day. That's all he said later on. But I'm not yet able to recover any questions or anything, any update or feedback from him because we have now not got the chance to talk. So that's the update. Talking about, we have two question papers of the two students who had cleared in the last attempt in Chennai. That is their first attempt. They are from batch Alpha 22. So I will be emailing the questions that they have shared with me to y'all so that y'all can refer. And today, as we get started, before I give you the rules of thumb, which are absolutely important for us to remember, I'll solve all your doubts that are pending live so that everybody can learn. Okay. So I think Sajal has a few doubts. Pooja has a few doubts. Priyam, where's Priyam? Okay, Priyam is not here. Just a second. Okay, I'll check with Priyam. I think Priyam had a few doubts. And Ayush had a few doubts. So anyone who had doubts which I have not solved, check your parking lot or check your WhatsApp chats. Share those doubts with me. You can share those doubts with me either on WhatsApp, on Zoom, or verbally. All it goes. It's going to be a healthy discussion. You think about every damn question that you have in your mind with respect to part one, part two, whatever. Feel free. We have enough time at hand. After that, once we are done, sorted with all questions, all problems, we'll simulate a few calls and we'll discuss thumb rules. And whatever list of doubts we have that we are not solving, I'll make a list so that I can personally send those answers to you individually. So questions with respect to standard instrument departure or arrival. And some people are asking me about difference between final approach fix and initial approach fix. So earlier I was thinking of doing it today, but I thought that it would be better if I just give you all nicely written pointers for you all to read, so that you can give that as a Viva, because that is not coming much in your part one exams anymore because the actual parameters have changed from instruments, a basic instrument approach and departure to area nav instrument approach and departure. So that becomes a little advanced under my understanding. So anyway, let's get started, students. Whatever your doubts are, whether you have sent it or not, reshare it right now. Reshare it and discuss one by one. You can raise your hand and talk, or you can drop me a message in the chat box. Come on. Feel free, ask away anything. Pooja, one of your last messages that you had sent before I could read it, I think it got deleted. So I don't know what was the last doubt, Pooja. If you don't mind, please share, type it again, that message. If that was a doubt or something, please clarify. And Sajal, you had a few doubts, right? I think Hardik, yeah, please. Anyone who's ready, go ahead. When I say we have enough time, I'm thinking we can wrap up before 11 only so that you are free afterwards. So I'm not really planning that it is compulsory for us to attend till 1:30. If we are done by 11, then why not, So let's have a good speed and talk because you all have developed good basics now. You all are professionals now. You are on the verge of, doing it. Especially those students who have Delhi exams right now. Yeah, so go ahead. I have to fix the lighting thing for my display. Don't mind today, it's a little foggy because it's natural light. Okay. I'm just trying to, have some change in the working area. So I like change. I've just earlier that back wall that you see used to be in front of me all the time. So I basically realized that it's been too long that I'm staring at a wall taking lectures, It looked like a small place. So I was like, okay, let's change it a little bit. So this way I get a whole view of the entire space here and there. And it really gives me a good feel. Yeah. I'm actually, Okay, Pooja thought there was a class. Okay, no problem, Pooja. Thanks for clarifying. So I'm actually going to make a runway over here, vertical, and I'm easily going to teach you all about runway markings. Plus, it will look good. And I'm going to stick a plane on that runway. Okay, it's going to be nice. So in school, I used to be artistic that way. So I still remember how to do art and craft. So it helps, childish things sometimes keep you busy. And of course, when I was teaching at colleges, so there used to be projects and events. So students used to do that, it was fun. So aviation projects and all, if we can still do online also, but we don't spend much time there. But generally, if we would have been a part of an offline class right now, like a proper education in old terms, then we would have had projects and all also over and above our training. Plus, we would have organized field trips also like that. So you never know, it's all fun. So let's start with your questions. I'm still waiting. No doubt, students. Are we clear with all our doubts? That's so good. Don't wait for your mocks now to clear your doubts. Do it right away.
Sir, you
Victor
try
Tango,
when
Papa Kilo Mike. Sorry. Sajil, stand by. Victor Tango, Papa Kilo Mike, go ahead. Sajil, just stand by. Sajil, like, sir, you're already making me wait for 2 weeks, 1 week. Again, you're making me wait. Nothing like that. Just wait. Pooja raised her hand first. Pooja, go ahead.
So our aircraft at runway holding point and ATC tells us to do immediate takeoff. Then what should be our action?
Okay. Your aircraft is at runway holding point, right?
Yes.
And ATC asks you for immediate takeoff.
Yes.
Is there any other condition, any other aircraft on finals or base leg?
Negative.
Okay. So if ATC says that, so whenever it happens, let's say that you are at runway holding point, ATC, so it could mean two things. It could either mean ATC calls you. If you get a question that you are at runway holding point, ATC calls you, let's say, okay. How to take such a call? So we'll merge two calls. We'll answer Pooja's doubt also. Pooja, let me know if it is resolved or not. Students, these are important doubts because these are going to build the gaps between what you know and what should be your final preparation. Simple. So make sure you ask again and again till it's clarified. All right. So let's say if this is the question, ATC calls you. So anytime when you get a question, you are here and here, ATC calls you. How to take that call? So you check, you are at runway holding point. Whom should you talk to? Ideally, you should talk to tower, not ground, expecting that you have been cleared to contact to tower. Okay. Ideally, you shouldn't do that, not ground, but tower, runway holding point. Then definitely you'll check which airport you are at. And of course, today we are practicing Delhi. So let's take Delhi. So the call would be like this. Delhi Tower, Victor Tango, Papa Kilo Mike, holding short, runway 32. Now, one interesting thing, I just got a message a few days ago from a stranger. All right. And he said that, sir, he just started saying that, sir, please update your students about go ahead. And he said, I had my exam and I was asked this question in part 2 Viva. I did not know the answer, he said. He said, after the exam, I looked through the RT manual and I figured out the answer. And I think your lectures, your students should benefit out of it. Now, that is something that Pooja had already shared with us a long time ago about go ahead. And we had resolved it. But apparently now WPC DGCA is seeking whether you know that update or not. One thing about regulation updates and your aviation experience and everything is that if there is any recent update or revision in regulations or rules in any of your important protocols, then those could be asked to you in your Vivas and your regulations exams. So that's why it's very important to keep having a track of checking out the DGCA notifications website to see if any new public notice has come out. Now, this is a completely different thing. I'm talking about it for the first time. there's a section of public notice wherein all the new notices, whether it's a revision to a rule, amendment to a rule, supplement to a rule or regulation, AIP, AIC, something or the other, it will be notified to the public that the same has happened. Please go through it. If you go through the public notice, you can check the links and you can check the revision. That's how you keep yourself up to date. Otherwise, you cannot go through 10,000s of pages on a daily basis just to check if something is revised or not. Anyway, first thing first, let's clarify this go ahead thing from now on. Earlier, I was saying that ATCs will be using it, so we will be using it. Although all our students who were using it still have cleared, but in your part 2 Viva, if you are asked, then you will say the term go ahead has been skipped. So if ATC calls you, ideally you were supposed to say go ahead. Okay. But now we don't say go ahead. We simply, whenever the other station takes its call sign, it's considered as go ahead. Simple. So whenever a station calls you, let's say ATC calls you, so what would the call ideally be? Here we are just imagining ATC is calling us in the question. In real time, what will happen? ATC will call you. Victor Tango, Papa Kilo Mike, Delhi Tower. So how would you respond? Earlier, we used to say go ahead. Now, if this question is asked to you in part 2 Viva, say that go ahead is skipped, updated. We simply reply with our call signs. We don't wait for go ahead. So how? If ATC says Victor Tango, Papa Kilo Mike, Delhi Tower, then you will say Delhi Tower, Victor Tango, Papa Kilo Mike. If you say that, it means it's a go ahead. Got it, students? Remember that. Will you remember this for your part 2 Vivas? In part 1, don't use it. If ATC uses it, then you use it. Simple. So we'll use a combined strategy. But it has been updated. Earlier, the update was in other countries other than UK, UK had a phrase called pass your message. And other than UK, mostly, okay, I'm not saying all, but other than UK, most. And here also, there would be some countries with UK who were following go ahead. This was the permission to go ahead with your request by the other station. Now, we just simply say our call signs. But what do we do if we are not ready to take the call? Let's say Delhi ground or Delhi tower is calling Victor Tango Papa Kilo Mike, but Victor Tango Papa Kilo Mike is tackling some emergency or maybe busy or unable to take call. Generally, pilots will always be able to take call. ATCs will not be able to take call idly. So if that is happening, then how do we say go ahead, or what is the opposite of go ahead? Then we'll say if Delhi Tower is calling you Victor Tango Papa Kilo Mike Delhi Tower, then you'll say Delhi Tower Victor Tango Papa Kilo Mike stand by. Simple. So if you cannot talk to someone, if someone is raising a station and you know you don't have to say go ahead anymore, but still if you have to ask them to wait, that I cannot talk, call me back, then they'll say stand by. So, okay, remember this. Remember the go ahead thing, please. Times like this are signs. You know, when unknown people are coming us and telling us that, sir, this was just asked to me half an hour ago and I did not know it. I just found out, so I thought I'll share with you, because apparently he was a student of our he was a student, apparently. He was learning from any free lecture available like that. I don't know how. I didn't talk much because I avoid strangers, to be honest. So, Likit, can we use it as in Likit? What's the question? You don't use go ahead. It's updated now. If you have to say go ahead, just say the call signs. Delhi ground, Delhi Tower, Victor Tango, Yankee, Yankee, Zulu. It means go ahead. If you don't want to say go ahead, then you can say standby. You can say at times standby if you're busy. So what's the question, Likit?
Also, it's cleared.
Good. I understood your question. Nukul, do you have anything to ask?
So it's completely removed, or
yeah, it's removed. He said a screenshot of the RT manual, so I trust that. Yeah. It's completely removed. No, when was it updated and in what notification? It's not mentioned under that line. I checked the line. He had highlighted it, but that revision part was not there. Probably, if you go through the actual iCATS radio telephony manual, that's where it's updated. So, in the index page of that manual, you'll find out date of revision, but they'll not ask that. You just say, sir, apparently it happened recently. Say, sir, just say unable to recollect. Simple. Sorry, sir, but unable to recollect. You could say, whenever something like this happens, you could say, sir, I do remember a lot of important dates. But tracking dates of revision is not as important as tracking the revision timely. So yeah, something like that. I mean, I'm ensure that in future I have to keep myself up to date with all revisions, so which I'm getting used to because I'm not a part of the industry yet, but I'm getting into it. Something like that you can cover up if you want to get talkative with them. It's not a problem if you become talkative, you know. It's like it's good actually if you talk to them nicely, casually about serious topics related to your subject. Anyway, so let's come back and solve this question. So let's say ATC calls you and you say, go ahead. Instead of say, go ahead, you just say Delhi Tower, Victor Tango, Papa Kilo Mike. Then you will say, okay, Priyam is joining us. Then you will say, when ATC will say, Victor Tango, Papa Kilo Mike, Delhi Tower, report if ready for immediate departure. Ready for immediate departure. Request enter runway 32 Victor Tango Papa Kilo Mike. Victor Tango Papa Kilo Mike. Delhi Tower. Cleared to enter runway 32. Cleared for takeoff. Kindly expedite. Entering runway 32. Cleared for takeoff. Expediting. Victor Tango Papa Kilo Mike. Okay, this is idly how idly how ATCs will ask you if you're ready for an immediate departure. Generally, ATC will never force you for an immediate departure. ATC will always ask if you are ready to expedite. This expedite and the noun is expeditious handling. Generally, when you're taxing with a priority call for priority startup and all, there's a delay due to traffic, but you say that I need startup on priority. So they'll ask you if you're ready to expedite, ready for expeditious handling. So you will say that ready for expeditious handling or I am expediting, however, whatever you want to say. All right. So Pooja, does that clear your doubt or do you want to refine the exact question and want me to try to answer that exact question?
Affirm, sir.
Affirm to what?
Clear it up.
Clear? Are you sure?
Affirm.
Nothing else attached to this? No confusion?
Negative.
Very nice. Good. So we have a question from Likith. Likith is asking, sir, if not ready for immediate takeoff, should we say negative or unable? Definitely. So now let's assume another situation. So these are good calls that we have not deeply practiced in class, but this is generic information. The way I'm taking these examples and converting into different types of calls. Have an open mind, students. Learn and ask questions properly. Victor Tango Papa Romeo Mike. Good morning. Welcome, Priyam. Delhi Tower. How do you read?
Read you 5, sir. Sorry for being late. I had some work, sir.
No issues. It's okay. I hope you're keeping well.
Yes, sir.
You haven't missed much. You're just doing doubt solving calls, practicing. It's okay. So here we were talking about, so Pooja, just give a relay to Priyam and just explain the question and answer, and also explain about go ahead quickly. I'll give you 1 minute to explain him everything in that 1 minute. Go ahead. Time starts now. Yeah, Victor Tango Papa Kilo Mike, please relay on my behalf to Priyam. What did we talk about? Go ahead. And what did we talk about immediate departure request when we are at a runway holding point by ATC? Okay. Can somebody else give a relay? Victor Tango Juliet Yankee Oscar. If you could relay to Victor Tango Papa Romeo Mike. Students, do not be nervous. Go ahead.
Victor Tango, Papa, I think Papa Romeo Mike. We have studied the term go ahead has been skipped from the rules and regulations. If the ATC calls you, like Victor Tango, Papa, Romeo, Mike, Delhi Tower, then we have to reply as a Delhi Tower, Victor Tango, Papa Kilo Mike. We don't have to mention go ahead as it has been ruled out from the regulations part. And next, if we if we can't at that particular moment we can't say anything, like we are busy, if the pilot is busy, then we just have to say the standby hold. Then we have solved the question. You are at a runway holding point and ATC calls you. So this was the call. Uh, so should I repeat the call?
Yeah, so I'll continue, Jyotsna. Thank you. Good effort. Very nice. But Jyotsna, your readability is less. I can read you 4. I'm not sure about Priyam. But Priyam, please give a readback of how much you have understood quickly in your own words.
So what I got to know is that go ahead has been ruled out. So we simply acknowledge go ahead by saying like Delhi Tower, Victor Tango Papa Romeo Mike. So that means go ahead. And
if you cannot take the call, then you'll say
standby
after the call
yes.
sign.
Yes.
Very good. Be careful. Very nice. Very well explained, Jyotsna. No problem. Pooja, I'm expecting you to do some explanations. So please be ready. Whenever you are ready, let me know. You can take the stage. Other thing, we had a doubt. What if you are at runway holding point and ATC asks you for immediate departure? So we took a call that ATC calls you. You say, okay, ATC, tell me what's up. And ATC says that, yeah, tell me if you're ready for immediate departure. And you're like, yeah, definitely ready for immediate departure. Just give me the clearance to enter runway 32. And even if you would have not asked, they would have given you the clearance. You know, that's the mutual understanding. So they say, definitely you are cleared to enter and you're also cleared for takeoff before you have requested. And just kindly expedite. So you just give a read back. Instead of read back, you just say, oh, definitely I'm entering runway 32. I have to expedite everything immediately. Happy pilot, you know. Wow. Happy pilot. Quick departure. Not bad. Very nice. Expediting, acknowledgement, and then end with your call sign. Now, what if there's another question? You are at runway holding point. ATC calls you. Show your inability to comply. Okay, now these kind of questions can come in the examination that they'll give you any position, not necessarily runway holding point. They could give you a position that you are in air, anywhere, you know, over a VOR, waypoint, somewhere in between, you know how it is. So show your inability to comply. Okay, so let's say So what does it actually mean? It means that Victor Tango, Juliet Yankee Oscar, Delhi Tower. This is the meaning. But this call we don't have to write. We have to assume we got this call. So we just say a reply, Delhi Tower, Victor Tango, Juliet Yankee Oscar. Now we have skipped go ahead, right? Simple. Victor Tango, Juliet Yankee Oscar, Delhi Tower. Students thinking, sir, why you are taking call sign again for consecutive calls? Here, when you have raised the station initially after go ahead, then once you can start fresh with the initial call signs to have clarity of communication like ATC is doing right now. Victor Tango, Juliet Yankee Oscar, Delhi Tower. Expect immediate departure after arriving traffic from left to right. So you see, if even if ATC wants to force something on you, this is the language that they will use. That be ready and expect that I'm giving you an immediate departure as soon as another aircraft from left to right lands. Okay, so you're at runway holding point. As soon as the aircraft lands, okay, it means by the time they are vacating the runway, you are expected to enter the runway and wait for clearance for takeoff. That quick. So practically at particular moment in time, there might be two aircrafts on the runway for a short fraction of time. One vacating the runway while the other, your aircraft entering the runway. So it's a critical situation. So you have to be super careful, right? And why are they doing it? Why are they asking you to rush? Probably because they're back-to-back arrivals and you might not get another window to land, to take off, that is. But here you have to show your inability to comply. Inability to comply means you cannot do what you are asked to do. Why? You should always say a reason why. If you are in air and they tell you that reach that flight level beneath this DME or so, you say unable to do aircraft heavy. If they say maintain a rate of climb 700 feet per minute, if the question is unable to comply, you'll say unable to comply aircraft heavy can do 500 feet per minute, like that. So here, what would we say? We think about something. What is the first thing that comes to my mind? I'll show you. Okay. Because I need clarity and I need to deny, I'm taking call sign again. Okay. It comes to you naturally after some time. If you don't want to use call signs, you can simply say, let's have continuity. Somebody just do an ATC call, Papa Kilo Mike. Just read out this call as if you are writing in real time so that I can have continuity and I'll reply as a pilot showing my inability to comply. Papa Kilo Mike, please be the ATC and read out this call.
Victor Tango, Papa Kilo Mike, Delhi Tower, expect immediate departure after arriving traffic from left to right.
Delhi Tower, Victor Tango, Juliet Yankee Oscar. Actually, she said Papa Kilo Mike, but I'm keeping the same script, Juliet Yankee Oscar. Not a big error, just random. Delhi Tower, Victor Tango, Juliet Yankee Oscar. Unable to execute immediate departure will take 10 minutes to complete cockpit checks. Holding short, runway 32. Okay. Now, what are cockpit checks? Now, generally, when you do a call like a pre-flight check, okay, pre-flight check is also called as a cockpit check. Simple. All right. A pre-flight radio check is also a part of cockpit checks. So, cockpit checks are pre-flight checks. Sometimes in olden days, we also had study material where we had a lot of solved question papers and a lot of different answers, common answers applicable to different questions. Somebody had made that file, and it has been highly useful to us. All that you learn today in India somewhere come from those material arranged by people 10 to 20 years ago, I guess now. But the material has revised and changed, but the essence doesn't change. So cockpit checks are pre-flight checks, and there used to be a call like this. Question like this. This question I want everybody to solve right now. Okay. Some of you all can do it live. Otherwise, everyone can do it live, however you want. The question is, request startup. You decide to carry out cockpit checks after lineup. Got it? So you need to be aware what is a cockpit check. Nothing but a pre-flight check. So what is this question? This question is trying to twist a simple startup call for a first-time student. It'll be like, he or she will be like, okay, what is this cockpit check? Even if you don't know, you have to give an attempt in the exam. And we have a technique that whatever you have in the question, why, that you put emphasis whether you know or not, plus make sure your language is clean and you don't make mistakes. So at least you get 10, 12, 14, even if you don't know anything. Now you know cockpit checks are pre-flight checks. It's one and the same whether you knew it or not, because the call has to be structured correctly. So how do I structure this call? Volunteers. Frame. I'll definitely show you the ideal way to do this call. Anyone wants to give it a try, especially Delhi students? Try. Try live. So rule number 1 that I'm going to teach you, final prep. Whatever question you have, frame the call in your mind. Keep looking at the question. Simple. Let it come to you. So do that, everyone. It's something that you have not studied, something that I've just spoken about, but something that doesn't look too difficult also. You must have got some call in your mind by now. So try to understand that call in your mind and see whether it has any mistakes, any errors. Now that if you're thinking about it, if you're able to think about it, then also think if this is the best structure or can I improve the structure. Once whatever solution you have got in your mind, don't think whether it's right or wrong. Just do this process. Automatically, whatever mistakes based on your level you're making, you will rectify individually. And then take a call now. Simple. This is the strategy for every question you have to follow in the exam. Now, Sahil did one mock day before yesterday, Sahil, I think. So, Sahil, what I'm saying is
it was yesterday.
Oh, I'm so happy it was yesterday. I thought we wasted one day. Good, good, good. Nice, nice. Good. So, Sahil, what I'm saying right now, is it, so see, students, practically, okay, others, you all don't have any mock experience right now. I think Pooja has a little experience, little slightly. I had done a call with her live on phone, but Sahil, I did a proper examination field for a 15 minute. Your first mock will be for 15 minutes. The next mock will be for 25 minutes, like proper. So what I'm saying, this technique, Sahil, what do you feel? This technique of thinking and fixing your mistakes before taking a live call, is it helpful or not?
Sir, it does help.
How does it help? How is it helping you? Share it with the class.
So if we just frame the call in our mind before letting it out, it will help us to fix our mistakes. So while we frame the call in our mind, we can find out that what are the mistakes that we can make while making the call. So better than while making the call, rather than making mistakes while making the call, we can just carry out a simple process of just thinking, making the call, and then giving.
Yeah, I like, Sahil, what you said, but I think for others it was like she sells seashells on the seashore, right? I think it was like a tongue twister what Sahil was saying. because he was using the same words. I understood because he also understood it finally after feedback and all. I was shouting a lot on Sahil at one point in the end, and I was like, Sahil, come on, push yourself, push yourself. It was like,
It helped, sir.
Is it? Okay, I thought I'm training Milkha Singh from the movie Bhag Milkha Bhag, I'm like, push yourself, tying 2 tires, making you run in the hills of some, I don't know, it was beautiful setting, How did they even reach there for practice? I was wondering, when I saw the movie. But it is true, he was a champ. So you all are champs, the way I train, I take it literally. I think that I'm a personal coach and you should be best, you should be like Virat Kohli of cricket or Ronaldo of football, something like that. So that thing also gets inside me at times. And if you can reach that point in your training, especially for RT, where you can have 1 or 2 mocks with me, then definitely your chances of clearing in a part 1 increase. So Sahil, tell us, how has it so far? See, still want to see your correct version, but still, so far, practically show us the difference in this strategy and not using this strategy. Technically, what were the mistakes you made for which call? Explain nicely, not a tongue twister now.
All right, sir. So the first mistake was a startup call that I made, and I didn't give much emphasis on what and on why were we calling. Why was there was a other information. It was given human organ transplant on board. So rather than emphasizing on what I'm supposed to speak, I gave a lot of other informations rather than emphasizing on what was I was supposed to speak, and then dead air, and then writing and speaking. So that will cover up my dead airs. And readbacks. You give me a feedback about my readbacks that I was giving unnecessary information in readback as well. So I've improved my readbacks. And
but more on thinking before taking the call.
yes, thinking before taking the call, framing the call in your mind, and then giving the call.
So basically, students, what I'm saying will really help you structure good calls. So I'm giving you the time. I want you all to make this call. RBV, if you are taking this call on chat, I would rather want you to do it live. Vignesh, I'm talking to you.
Yes,
I
yes.
saw you took all the efforts. Okay. Okay, and good effort. Vignesh, RBV Vignesh, good effort. Not bad, good effort. Very nice, good effort. Pooja, please go ahead, do live. You're the first one to ask. Very nice to see Pooja being so proactive. Very nice. Go ahead, Pooja. Let's see. After Pooja, who's going next? I'll give you a name. After Pooja, I want Priyam to go next. After Priyam, Sajal. After Sajal, Hardik. Okay. These 4 students will do the same call again and again. Don't copy each other's call. Whether it's same or not, do your original call. Live. So whatever you have frame in your mind, don't keep it written and read it out. Okay. Don't do that. It's not going to help you. Okay. All right. All right. Go ahead, Pooja.
Daily ground, Victor Tango Papa Kilo Mike, stand Alpha 2, Boeing 737, moderate, IFR, Delhi to Mumbai, passenger on board 180, security check carried out, request startup, would like to do cockpit check, duration 10 minute.
Very well said, Pooja. You remembered the script for your startup call. That was very good because there are a few calls that are basically depending on the script, which if we remember really makes it easy. Pooja, instead of carried out, say security check cleared. Simple, much better. Security check cleared. Okay. Otherwise, carried out will also not reduce marks, but cleared is much better to use other than carried out. We will use cleared. Request startup. Would like to do cockpit check, duration 10 minutes. Generally, we don't say duration 10 minutes for cockpit checks. But because you're going to be under lineup, if you say duration, it's not a problem. Because when I was at holding point, even I had to give ATC an estimate that although I'm number 1 for departure, because I'm at runway holding point, number 1 for departure, still I will take more 10 minutes. So I'm not ready for immediate departure, right? So I gave a good reason. So that's why it was important for me to give an approximate time of delay for an immediate departure to the ATC. Otherwise, ATC would not have known how much time do I need. I'm just unnecessarily blocking traffic. So probably the ATC would have given clearance to other aircraft to backtrack and then take off, even though I'm blocking a runway holding point. Can you imagine, students? There are more ways to enter the runway, right? For takeoff also. They can backtrack and go other plane. Even though you're blocking the runway holding point, there are other holding points. But for that, you'll have to backtrack to take full length of the runway if you're occupying the last holding point. So, Pooja, awesome call. But Pooja, would you like to add one more thing over here? Because I don't see anything about lineup. So everything in the question should be said out when it is technical. Okay. Here the lineup is very important point. So we have to mention that lineup also. So Pooja, do you want to add that lineup and modify this call? It's 95% absolutely correct. But one thing missing is the lineup from the question. Nothing else. Pooja, response within 5 seconds.
Sir. Affirm, sir.
Affirm to what? Would you like to add something or not? Simple. Say yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Please show what and where. Quickly. Modify your call. Quickly. You have the time. See, students, you have to push yourself. You have to do what you know. You cannot get stuck. That's not going to help you. If you speak something, that's definitely going to get you good marks. Some marks. Papa Kilo Mike, come on. What would you like to add? Okay, you think about it. Who was next?
Sir, it was me.
Go ahead, quick.
Delhi ground, Victor Tango, Papa Romeo Mike.
Priyam.
Yes, sir.
Delhi ground, right? Delhi ground. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Delhi ground, Victor Tango, Papa Romeo Mike on stand 2, IFR, Delhi to Chennai, A320, moderate, security check cleared, weather obtained, request startup, would carry out cockpit checks after lineup.
Very good. But Priyam, what is this weather obtained? No weather obtained. Information Bravo or any information code you want to give because Delhi has status.
Okay, sir.
No weather obtained. This is not how we have learned. So security check carried out is not from us, so we'll not use it. Weather obtained is not from our training, so we're not going to use it. Simple.
Fine, sir.
Whatever that is related information you get, you just say code. Okay. And information that is. And if you don't have information, then ATC will give you the weather report. Then you can say weather obtained in the end. It's not like it's a wrong choice of words, but it's right. Pooja, in your call, you didn't say information Bravo. Delhi has status. You could have said that. Okay. And you could have mentioned would like to do cockpit check duration 10 minutes after line up. Simple. This is what I was waiting for you to add. Okay. Absolutely perfect call. I don't know why you didn't add lineup. I thought you will be finishing the sentence, but I think you're on the right track. Very good. Just make sure that you use everything in the
Sir,
question.
actually, I didn't read whole question.
Yeah. So this thing, Sahil, what happened with you in your question paper? What did you
Sir,
do?
I was about to say that the
Yeah.
mistakes that I've done. Don't ever skip question and read the entire question paper properly.
So what happened was even Vishnu and even Sahil, and I'm telling it because it happens with everyone when you do your first exam or first session. Okay. If there is question number 1 alpha and question number 1 bravo, then I have seen many students under the pressure of performance, they skip question number 1 bravo after doing question number 1 alpha, and they simply jump to question number 2. But the examiner is still judging you for question number 1 bravo, and you are doing question number 2. So it's going to be completely different. So you will end up getting 0 marks. Plus, if you don't read the question carefully, like Pooja said, sir, I didn't read the question completely. It's an honest error that happens in the beginning when you're learning. But you have to understand that you cannot stick with this error. So rule number 1, when I say final preparation thumbs up, rules of thumb, it means that read the whole question once or twice nicely. Let the call come to you because you are prepared. Instead of consciously making a call, if you look at the situation, a call will come to you. When the call comes to you, you analyze the call for mistakes, for errors, for structure. That's when you consciously compare it with what you had learned and what's come to you nicely. And then in your mind, quickly in a minute or two, if you do that, it's fine. You get 5 minutes for every question on an average. So it is very important. So Pooja said, sir, actually, I just missed reading the call. Although in the question, I had mentioned line up again and again, again and again. But what happened under the anxiety or pressure of public speaking or doing a call in front of so many people, such human errors happen. They happen with everyone. We have to accept it and we have to fix them. These little things guarantee success in your first attempts. I have noticed in my experience that good students who are prepared, they are unable to clear because of these little things. Are you getting it? So these little errors could be avoided. So from next time, Pooja, personal feedback for you, read the question completely twice and then frame the call in mind and then give the actual call. 3 points. Write it down and send me a picture of these 3 points. Everybody will write it down, not just Pooja. It's important for all of us. It's important for me also. If tomorrow somebody subjects me to a test, okay, I'm ready for exams. I'm always ready for all exams. Why? Because in aviation, even though you grow up and you are 50 years old also, you might have to give exams. Got it, students? Good. So Priyam, good call. Absolutely perfect, I would say, in your own way. Not bad. Seems good. Were you doing live or were you reading it? Because I sense it was a little too fast, but if you were doing it live, then I don't mind the speed.
No, sir, I was doing it live, but my handwriting is very bad.
Send it to me. Let me be the judge of it. Students, it's not your job to judge yourself. Okay? It's not your job to judge yourselves when you're training. If you feel, sir, I'm not doing good, you tell me, sir, I am feeling I'm not doing good. Do you think I'm not doing good? I'll honestly tell you, yeah, you're not doing good. But if I say, no, you are doing great, then you need to believe that because that self-confidence is also important. And I can see every one of you all having that self-confidence right now. So it's amazing. It's very good. Of course, weather obtained instead of that information. Bravo. Before, who's next? I think Sajal and Jyot. Who are the other 2 students? Just raise your hands. Hardik and Sajal, right? Yes. Stand by. We had one more doubt with respect to expedite and all. I'll just check that doubt. I think Likhit was asking that. Jyotsna was asking that, yes. So Likhit, your doubt is solved. If we are not ready, how to say? We say unable. We don't say negative. We say unable. Okay. If it's there in the question, if not there in the question, you can say that. Jyotsna was asking, sir, what if we have traffic ahead on the runway? So if ATC tells you, confirm if ready for immediate departure, and you see that, of course, you're a good pilot, so you have a habit of scanning the runway on both sides when you're entering the runway holding point. So even though you got a clearance, let's say that Jyotsna got the clearance and Jyotsna is just entering the runway nicely and ready to get prepped up and departure, and she sees another aircraft on the runway. What to do? So that's the question. Now, if that happens, simply Delhi Tower, Victor Tango, Juliet Yankee Oscar, entered runway 32, see another aircraft on runway. holding position, request further instructions. Simple. If that aircraft is not coming in your direction, then it's a normal call. Probably it was a landing aircraft that is still waiting for runway vacating instructions. Probably. But if you see another aircraft coming towards you, then that is a deadly situation now. That aircraft might be doing a wrong takeoff, wrong runway direction. Maybe that aircraft was landing in the wrong direction. Maybe that aircraft is backtracking. We don't know. If the aircraft is on ground, we don't know what's the purpose of that aircraft doing. And why did ATC give me a clearance? And if ATC gave me clearance, then obviously that aircraft was not supposed to be here. ATC was confident, but that aircraft is here. Is it an aircraft with emergency? What's the matter? But whatever the matter is, if I don't get out from this position, then probably that plane will run into me. Let's imagine you have not started your takeoff roll. You've just entered runway, you have spotted it. So what to do? You will say, in that situation, you'll say, depends. If it's a head-on thing at a high speed, then it will be a mayday call. If you think there's a potential threat but not immediate, then you could give a pan-pan call also. So let's stick with pan-pan right now for this situation and assume we'll say pan-pan, 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 Mumbai Tower, correction, Delhi Tower, Victor Tango Juliet Yankee Oscar, entered runway 32. See another aircraft on runway facing us if you are not sure if they're backtracking or landing. Or see another aircraft on runway in opposite direction. You could say that, whatever you can say. And then you could say, request immediate instructions to vacate runway. Like this. Or you could say vacating runway via taxiway Bravo 1 on our left. We'll hold position, request further instructions to avoid traffic. Something like that could be said. Jyotsna, is that clear? Students, are you learning? Is it getting too boring in the morning? I think it's a very nice session that we are nicely learning, chatting about it, taking it easy. It's a Saturday session. And I'm wearing casuals, you know. If there's a reason on Saturday, I try to wear casuals so that, you know, we feel that it's a weekend. Any doubts? Okay, so who's next? Hardik, go ahead. Same situation. Don't copy the calls. Give me your original call. Quick.
Delhi Tower, Victor Tango Hotel Romeo Kilo, ATR 72 moderate, IFR Delhi to Mumbai, information Bravo on hotel on stand hotel 2, request startup, want to carry out cockpit checks after lineup.
Hardik, very good effort. Hardik, no such errors apart from rate of speech, and that too is not bad. It's very good. It's slow, steady. And although at points I thought that the dead air is going to be stretched, but luckily it didn't feel like it was stretched because your rate of speech was constant during the whole call. So somewhere those, I think you were at borderline of 4 to 5 seconds at max giving me the dead air, which is not bad. Just make sure over here, request startup and want to carry out the want to carry out cockpit checks after lineup. Okay, sometimes I cannot hear. This is bad. I cannot understand my own handwriting. This is so bad. Students, whenever you find that I'm not written something clearly, do let me know, okay? Yeah. So what I'm trying to say, Hardik, that after you say request startup, there was small gap. Some people might think that your call is done. And if I would have thought your call is done, then as an ATC, I would have quickly replied. And if I would have done that, then you would not got a chance to complete your call, which you eventually did, which is good. So you would have missed on doing the right thing just because of this small gap, which is a little longer than the other gaps that you have in your call. So Hardik, earlier when you give a pre-flight check call, I sensed a lot of energy in your call. Right now, I can see that it's been 1.5 hours, so that energy is little drained in your call. But when you are taking the call, no matter whether you're drained or tired or not, you just have to act. So you make sure that energy is felt. All right. So waking up, we are energetic, but by the time we reach out, we realize some of the energy is gone. So right now you're not conscious about it, but I as an instructor can really see that, okay, that's a little difference. So if you bring that energy back thinking it's my first call, I've just sat down with a cup of coffee, tea, whatever you like, then think like that and take that call. It will sound much better. Even if you don't know, even if you don't do, on a good day, you will clear the exam with calls like this. On a bad day, my techniques will make sure that nothing goes wrong with you. It's like that. So we be prepared for all things. So good call. Overall, very nice. Your feedback would be write and speak. Were you writing and speaking, or were you speaking and writing?
So writing and speaking.
Good, good, good. So try to
Actually,
match
I
up.
got nervous at that moment, like where the dead air was like very huge. So I got nervous at that point.
Then how did you finish the call perfectly after getting nervous also?
I like read the question again and gave the answer.
Beautiful, beautiful. See, it's okay. It worked in your favor. Simple. I won't say it was too long because you ended up giving the perfect call overall. See, students, see, understand. Some students might be thinking, sir, his call was not as good as my call. Then why did you give me more feedbacks and not him? So eventually it all sounds upon your originality and individuality. So what I'm trying to say on a basic level is that when you are giving a call, when you have differences in your own rate of speech, that's when the disturbance is heard. So when, let's say that you have a habit of speaking fast. So I know if you have a habit of speaking fast, then you will not give me any dead air. When you give me a dead air, that seems like an error. Do you understand? But when you're having a casual speed, when I know that, okay, you are a slow speaker, then I will be expecting you to finish your call in a slow time. So I'll not think that the dead air is over yet. Because logically, I would know that you are still finishing the call, taking your own time. And I would know that that 2 or 3 minute correction, 2 or 3 second gap is going to be there in your call. So that's how the first call with your ATC in the examiners will help you get used to his rate of speech and him or her to your rate of speech. So earlier when we had notes, we were new to RT. I remember those days. I remember everything when I'd learned that time because it was very interesting, for me also. So I remember one of the initial calls, startup calls, they had written in bracket. Okay, whoever made those calls, I don't know who made those calls. It was given to me by that instructor. So here they were written, speak slower, let the examiner get used to your voice. Imagine, it was given in RT book for us to learn. These days, nobody talks about such things. Just syllabus, 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 syllabus. It doesn't work like that in RT examinations, in aviation examinations. Knowledge matters. The way you execute, that matters. Very nice. So overall, Hardik, your feedback would be that act as if you have full energy. You've just woken up, showered and already geared up, worked out a little bit, have some energy, had some healthy breakfast, ready to take on the world. Whenever you're having the call, feel that you have become a pilot. Won't that give you a great sense of confidence and energy, students? Simple, right? Yes. Very nice. Very happy with all your calls. Final, Sajal, complete it. One more thing, stand by, Sajal. Hardik, fillers. Fillers. You had 2 fillers. Very good that it's not more than 2, but remove those 2 fillers also. Sometimes when we have dead air, we try to fill in the dead air by giving fillers. But fillers are a complete no-no. Simple. Take it easy. Give yourself time. Don't panic because the way you managed, I didn't see any fault in that call. Even though I can acknowledge there was dead air, but it was within limits. Do you understand, students? It's okay. So remember, just no fillers, okay, Hardik?
Affirm, sir.
Very good. And remember, students, whenever you're acknowledging with me, like Hardik said, affirm, and with your call signs, because we are lacking that practice, right? We can see some people are missing out on that. When some people are missing out on that, it means it's a problem in the class. Somewhere we are all not following the same protocols. So even if you're saying affirm verbally, then end with your call sign. Got it, students?
Affirm Victor Tango Hotel Romeo Juliet.
Very nice. Sajal, go ahead.
Delhi ground, Red Knight 701, stand 2, Airbus 320 moderate, IFR Delhi to Mumbai, passengers on board 120, security check cleared, information Charlie, request startup will carry out cockpit check after lineup.
Very nice. I was just thinking, Red Knight is for whom? Is it for
Sir, Air Asia India.
Air Asia, Air Asia. And what's the call sign code for Air Asia?
Sir, India 5.
India 5. Very good. India 5710. Is it correct, students? Please check. You all have a list of all call signs, right? Very nice. One thing, students, when I'm taking a live call and you're making a live call, and when I'm writing it on screen, do not wait for me to finish writing. Sometimes I feel that students can see me get stuck here and there, and you all wait for me to finish that. If that is happening, then don't wait. Okay, you just go on with your flow, because you will not know, in reality, you will not know if the other person is writing or not. You have to just, do what you do. If anyone noticed what happened with me when I was taking the call, okay, and this is something that as I wanted to tell you also, but then I thought that this is something that it's better if I say collectively in class. Okay, so this is from here, we are going to start after Sajal's feedback. We are going to start with the rules of thumb. Okay, and I'll answer a couple of questions. We have one question before I go ahead with this. For airprox risk of risks. Rix is such an Indian word. Have you come across it, students? Rix. Have you heard anyone say Rix instead of risk? I have heard many people say Rix. It happened with me also today. Okay, fine. So risk. What was it? What was the question, Likhit? Yeah. So Likhit is asking, for airprox risk of collision, is it a mayday? Airprox risk of collision is not a mayday because the aircraft apparently passes through your level from some other direction than your direction, up or right, like this. Not like this, but airprox is mainly when you are like this. You are like this, so the aircraft could go from here, or maybe from down to up or up to down, but never head on. So if it is head on, irrespective of the distance, you say mayday, you don't say airprox then. Mayday, mayday, mayday. So and so ATC, I'm so and so aircraft, I see so and so aircraft head on, I'm turning right to avoid collision. Turning right, simple. Okay, so that will not be airprox. But they say you see another aircraft pass your level at 2 nautical miles, then that is airprox risk of collision. It's not a mayday. If they say there's another aircraft head on 2 nautical miles, no airprox. Mayday, mayday, mayday. By the time your call is over, you are gone. Heaven, hell, whatever your deeds are, whatever you believe in, it's gone. Like you had a good life. You're gone doing what you love the most. See, I've become so practical in life. It's okay. I mean, we all have to go, right? Like, it's the best way. Like, wow. I know it's very unfortunate, but still. Very nice, students. Keep it up. Good calls. Anyone else wants to do any live call right now before I go ahead with the rules of thumb session and try to wrap up by 11? Anyone has any question or wants to practice anything right now? Anybody wants anything, feel free to ask. Take your time. I'll give you 5 minutes for it, and then I'll start with the rules of thumb for part 1 final preparation. Not just part 1, part 2. Yeah, so the point was, what was I talking about? Collectively, right? I said that it's good that I'll say that collectively to everyone. I said that I wanted to talk to Sahil, but I thought I'll say this to everyone. But I've forgotten what was it. Can anyone help me recollect? Anyone can help me think, recollect, so I remember. So what happened with me when he said Red Knight 710? Okay, I got surprised. Why? Because we are so used to practicing Air India and Victor Tango call signs that we don't practice other call signs. If we do, then it's iFly or SpiceJet or maybe Go Air. Simple. But we have a list of calls, so why not practice with them, right? So when he said Red Knight, I was trying to go back in memory and try to write it with call sign instead of Red Knight. I could have easily written down Red Knight, right? Idly, because it's not wrong to say Red Knight if Red Knight is spoken. Otherwise, you can write I5 also, whatever works for you, India 5. But I was unable to recollect. I gave my mind some time. I was unable to recollect. By then, he had said A320 moderate. I don't know if it's Sajal or other student, but somebody said Alpha 320. Don't say Alpha 320. It's Airbus 320. Say Airbus 320. Simple. Okay. Anyone who said that A320 or Alpha 320, I forgot to mention. Who was it?
It was me, sir.
Yeah.
I said A320.
No. Say Airbus 320. Simple.
All right, sir.
Yeah. So good. So what I did, if you all observed, what I did, I missed it. I had a lag in what ATC was saying or what the other call was being said and what I was writing. Okay. That can really cause a lot of disturbances in your writing. And what happens? Generally, students give up and then they say experiencing QRM or experiencing interference, say again, right? That's a strategy you can always use if you miss out something. But why? Why do and go through that hassle? Especially if your first two calls are not good, and if you do that in your third call, then the examiner will not even feel like helping you pass because you've already done two bad calls, and the third call you're asking to say again and again. So they realize the student is all over the place. There's a lot of chaos and nervousness and anxiety and God knows what. So they know the student is not ready. How will this person get inside a cockpit is what they will think. So they'll be like, go prepare well and come back. They are all positive about it. That's why they fail you. Simple. That can also be one reason. So what I did right now, I don't know if you all observed or not, but, and this is something, Sahil, I wanted to tell you also, and I want to tell everyone. Whenever a call on RT is given to you, right now for you to give a read back, and right now for you to read it and understand what is said is easy because you write it completely. And even after the calls are done, before you give the call, you can read what you have written down, and based upon that, you can give a reply. So it helps you because you are training. It's easy. In real life, you don't write. Pilots don't write, but pilots give a read back. How? Memory, instant memory. Although in aviation, we don't rely much on memory because everything is given to you in writing, checklist every time, departure checklist, arrival checklist, so many checklists, protocols. But still, when you are listening to calls, the moment you are listening, keep recording it in your mind. So I recorded everything. Although I spent some time thinking about Red Knight and I-5, only these two things, I was multitasking as if my mind was divided in two parts. Okay, it works. I'm just giving you extra points, something that can help at least one or two students, if not all, maybe all of y'all. Maybe you all can be experts. Maybe some of y'all will realize it later. I don't know. I'm just sharing these advices that really help us make our experience much more easier. Something like an RT exam that is supposed to be so difficult and so important in aviation. You all know that one license can change your life. Some of you all know that the way your career is planned. Why? I'm just trying to make it easy. How? So I made sure that although I'm confused, one side my ear is busy listening to who gave me the call? Sajal. Busy listening to Sajal. So although my one mind was thinking about it, Sajal's voice was there. History was there. So I was like, okay, let's just keep it blank. It will come to us by the time we finish the call. So I wrote 710. All I had to figure out was Red Knight. It is simple. It's not going to be missed out in memory also, because 710 could have been forgotten. Was it 711? Was it 750? 710? That I wrote. And then I remembered stand to A320 moderate or Airbus 320 moderate. But what happened? I had to bring myself to speed because of the lag. I had to catch up with Sajal. So my handwriting got a little weird. But I made sure that I am just in sync. And I know that he was two words ahead of me, but still I finished the call with him without any panic. And I realized I will not be able to remember IFI. So I wrote Red Knight before the call got over. So what did I do? I finally made a decision. I didn't say that, okay, live in class in front of 12 students, I am unable to think about IFI or Red Knight. I'm not embarrassed about it. I'm not worried about making a mistake. What I'm worried about is trying to make the best decision in the given amount of time. And I took the best decision. And I know that even if I don't say this, I say Red Knight, I'm going to get exact marks. Simple. Do you understand, students, what I'm trying to say? So this is something that I wanted to say, that just don't depend. What happens is, if we are not having an intent of at least remembering at least for a few seconds what is said to us, then it might not stay in our mind. But if we have an intent, then it will stay in your mind automatically. Let's practice this. I'll give a call. Don't write it, but try to give a read back. When you're giving a read back, write it. Okay? Can we do that, everyone? RBV and Nukul are saying yes. How about others? Sajal is saying yes. Ayush is saying yes. Everyone is saying yes. Good. What about okay, LRC? Good. Very nice. Very nice. I like this. You know, you're all up for challenges. Very nice. Okay. All stations. Delhi Tower. Exercise caution. Boeing 747 in distress with engine fire is about to make emergency landing runway 32. All traffic, keep a lookout. I say again, exercise caution. Any readback, students? Quick. You all have to give quick readbacks. If there are 10 or 11 or let's say 12 pilots in the vicinity right now who are talking to me, preparing for departure, let's say you all are on ground, maybe couple of y'all are in air, read back. Whoever is ready, just do it. Okay. Bhavin, go ahead.
Delhi Tower. Exercising caution. Boeing 747 in distress, engine fire. About to make emergency landing runway 32. All traffic, keep a lookout. I say again, exercise caution. Victor Tango Charlie Bravo Lima.
Not bad in terms of memory. Readback could have been more like a readback, but good. With respect to memory exercise, very good. Sahil? Sahil?
Exercise caution. Boeing 747 in distress with engine fire. About to make an emergency landing in runway 32. Wilco, Victor, Tango, Sierra, Alpha Hotel.
Not bad. Very nice. Who's going next? Jyotsna?
All stations, Delhi Tower, Boeing 7, exercise caution, Boeing 747 in distress, engines on fire, red, immediate landing on runway 22, all aircraft keep a lookout. I say again, exercise cautions.
Good, not bad. Anybody else wants to try? Very nice. See, students, everybody is giving a different feedback. Jyotsna, you had certain technical. I heard you say runway 22, but I had said runway 32. So a few things incorrectly, probably readability, or maybe you forgot. What was it? Was there a mistake? Did you say 22, runway 22?
No, sir, I said runway 32.
32. So maybe the readability is less. Good that you didn't make any mistake. Nice. Okay. Students, at least those who have not taken a call, please acknowledge if you're understanding what I'm trying to say. These are all extra things, which are good to be prepared with. Extra, over and above, just for a bad day. It doesn't mean you'll have a bad day on the examination day. You might have a good day, you're ready for a good day. Only Hardik is saying yes, and 3 students with videos are saying yes. What about others? Papa Kilo Mike? No response. Lima Romeo Charlie? No response. Good. Ideally, a readback to this would be that Delhi Tower, Air India 123, stand 2, Roger, Mayday. Generally, they should say Mayday also in such case, but they are not supposed to say Mayday to you. It's okay. You could say Roger, Mayday. You could say Roger will keep a lookout for distress traffic, keeping away from runway 32, holding position, stand 2, Wilco. That's it. Simple. Or simply you could say just Roger. Roger, Wilco, Air India 123. In such situations, all pilots would simply say Roger and end with the call sign, so that at least they've got the message. What is the meaning of Roger? Received and understood my last your last transmission. Got it? But yeah, out of memory, if you had to say, it was a tricky call. This call, even if you would have said Roger, Wilco, will exercise caution, India 123 would have been correct. But with memory, your task, you have done well, whoever has done. Other students, feel free to discuss this with me anytime. Let's talk about the rules of thumb now for part 1, for part 2. Simple. Okay. Rule number 1. Read flight plan, all 13 points, twice. Step 1. I'm giving it to you in sequence for you to easily know what is the best way to avoid mistakes. Okay. Step 2. Track your route and study it twice. When I say study it, let's say Delhi to Mumbai, check your route, track it again, go through the route, look at all VORs, control boundaries, FIRs, radials, DMEs, all across. Okay, check the route nicely, look what is there on your right, left, everything quickly. It might, with practice, it might not take more than 10 seconds also. 10, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, twice. Okay. Step 3. Extra emphasis on number 1, aircraft call sign. Number 2, other info. Number 3, flight rules. Especially those flight rules, Yankee and Zulu. IFR first and then VFR. VFR first and then IFR. All right. Fourth, route or route. Again, the abbreviation for route is RTE. So step 3 is basically you'll cross-check once again. After reading your flight plan and tracking the route on the chart, you'll quickly cross-check once again your call sign, other information, flight rules properly, your route. Everything else is important, but you have already checked that. So you're just double checking this. Okay. Make sure that you don't skip any step. If you simply come to step number 3 and not do 2 and 1, then it's not going to give you the best impact. All right. If you want to make the best impact of these techniques, then follow. Simple. If you're unable to follow, if there are any challenges, talk to me. Sir, can you give me a refined strategy? Can you give me a better strategy? Can you give me an individual strategy? I have n number of strategies. If something doesn't work, I'll help you come up with something else. List of abbreviations. Yeah, I mean, I've not yet sent you all a document, but yeah, I'll send you all something. I'll send you all something. We'll write it down. Actually, I have to send a few more things. It's okay. Even if you don't get things, you're still having a lot to pass the exams. Okay, students who are thinking that what if I don't get it and all, it's okay. Whatever you know, just go with that. That much is enough. But still, I have to send you all some more notes. And I have to send you Chennai papers also. Only 2 I have so far from authentic sources. Otherwise, via, I don't use much. Okay, good. Anyway, step number 4. Very important step number 4. Read all questions in sequence. Special focus on sub questions, because I've seen that many students initially in their few sessions are skipping the sub questions. So emphasis on sub questions. Like for example, now, if I tell you that, okay, there is a question paper, so and so, and I have done the flight plan reading, I have done the tracking, I have done step number 3, cross-check all those elements. Now I'm doing step number 4. What is step number 4? Read all questions in sequence. Special focus on sub-questions. So I'll see all the questions. Question number 1, question number 2, question number 3A, question number 3B, question number 4, question number 5. Then I know in my mind, okay, there are in total 6 questions. 6 different questions. Simple. I cannot skip anything. Okay. I need question number 1, question number 2. Question number 3, I have to be careful. It's part 1 and part 2. Let's say when you're reading the question, you panic because the questions are difficult and you don't know direct answers. Don't panic. Okay, fine. I have to make up calls. So when you think that there is something that you have not studied, but you know that you have to make up a call on your own, your basics will come into picture. What basics? Call signs, call structure, reading from the question, everything. Simple. And you'll be able to make a good call. If you read the questions and you were like, okay, this is easy, this is easy, this is easy, this is easy, everything I know. Wow, good paper, easy paper, good day. Wow. So not a bad day for me. Good. So far, so good. Still, your performance is not done. So we are not sure if you're going to clear or not. So you have to be extra careful that you don't make any silly mistakes. And that silly mistake can happen basis of not saying your call sign, not using proper call sign of the ATC, dead air, fillers, wrong phraseology, wrong numbers. Again, same rule applies, the basic, whether you know the answer, whether you don't know the answer. What if when you read the question paper first, so I'm telling you what bad and good things can happen when you read the question paper that can impact your performance. Okay, so I'm talking about the worst that can happen reading your question paper before attempting the questions. You might come across 2 questions that you easily know and 3 questions that you don't know. Those times students get really more scared because their total emphasis goes on to those questions that they don't know how to solve directly. But you don't know you do know the first two questions, but you don't know the next three questions. Don't panic. The first two questions, you have to make sure out of 40 you get 40 or at least close to 40. So you have to make sure that, okay, the first two questions, I have to make sure I give my best. So good focus on those. Take good time on those. 10 minutes, 15 minutes also you take for those first two questions, it's okay. That 40 is very close to 50. 50 is passing. Then you go to question number 3 and like, okay, good. I've done my good job in there. Now, how do I tackle question number 3? Let's talk about it now. If you don't know, then you remember the techniques. Call structure, read from the question. Simple. And frame a call out. That's it. So you know you might be right, you might be wrong, but you do know your language and your basics and your protocols are not wrong. So you'll get good marks on that. The only thing that you don't know probably is the meaning of that abbreviation or a term or something that you have not learned. Like cockpit checks, if I would have not given you, probably some of you might have not realized that it's just a pre-flight check. You would have gotten stuck. But with this technique, you'll be like, just use the word cockpit check over there after lineup as it is. And eventually you realize that that is actually the correct way to answer. Do you understand, students, what I'm trying to say? Students with videos on, two are nodding head. Nukul, I think you missed what I said last few lines. Should I repeat, Nukul?
Negative, sir.
Hardik, you following? Priyam? Hardik?
Affirm Victor Tango Hotel Romeo Kilo.
Hotel Romeo Kilo. I like the style, but the rule is Kilo should also be strong. For style, it's good. Once you're pilot, we can do that. Not in RT exams. Okay? At least he's using his call sign. I appreciate that. That's how I see where you're lacking or not. So, Hotel Romeo Kilo. Kilo should I be as strong as anything else, Hardik? Okay? Good. Special focus on sub questions. Okay? And then, number 3, read all instructions, important instructions written before the questions carefully. So ideally, generally, there are 5 important points given to you before the questions. Read them carefully. They will really help you think about the basics in case in the last moment you forget or you're not aware of the basic protocol of following basics. I'll show you a sample paper before we go and I'll show you how to do this one by one. Okay. Step number 5. Start answering one question or sub-question in sequence, one by one. Move to next only when ATC says go to next question. Otherwise, continue the call naturally. Now, this is a basic understanding we are writing in, giving you in writing. Sometimes, by mistake, you will avoid the sequence or you'll miss the sequence or you'll skip a question. That also means missing the sequence. Sometimes if it's a startup call, a student says startup, ATC says startup approved, you said startup approved, ATC says Roger, and you think the call is done and you wait. Now ATC has said Roger, ATC has not said go to next question. So you cannot wait. That's dead air. So what do? Mumbai ground, Air India 123, startup completed, request taxi. Naturally. When I say naturally, what are you supposed to do next? You all have attended the session A to Z, how flights take place. So you know the whole flow now. Everybody knows the flow. Use that flow and naturally go ahead with the flow. You know all the basic calls in the flow. Keep doing those calls, although they are not part of your question. Got it, students? Till the time you are asked to go to the next question. Students with video are getting it. What about those who are not? giving me any acknowledgement. Anyone, students, if you don't understand, I'll say again. Likit Priyam?
Got it, sir. Victor Tango Papa Romeo Mike.
Good. Now, the second point, when you start answering questions, okay? Second point is the most important point, okay? Before giving a live call, frame the call in your mind. Look for mistakes. Check structure. And then recheck if you can do better. Once the point number 2 check is done, start your call with a comfortable rate of speech, ideally on the slower side, but not too slow. Simple. It's your first call. Take it easy, nicely. Give yourself time to perform the best by avoiding mistakes. The only thing that can go wrong is that you'll end up making mistakes. That's it. If you can prevent that, all of y'all will succeed in your first attempts, and it will be like a record, you know. So these are 5 steps. In these steps, I'm not talking about timer. Okay. Timer, time and all, we will be able to figure out on a one-on-one mock based upon your individual performance. All right. Right now, you don't worry about the time and timer. You just follow these protocols. More worry should be on the correctness of your calls right now, not whether you're able to finish the call or not, or the paper. Ideally, if your calls are perfect, then even a lengthy paper, you'll be able to finish within 15 to 16 minutes. It's possible. I've had students finishing good papers within 14 minutes also. Good lengthy papers, because they had good clarity of their calls. Good clarity. Perfect clarity. So it's okay. Sometimes this, sometimes that. Simple. Other important techniques. These other important techniques are applicable everywhere. Basics. Call signs to be correct. Yours and ATCs. Okay. Use standard words and phrases as much as you can. Okay. On consecutive replies, don't start with call signs, but with read back, and then end with call sign. Number 4, read back is where you will be judged the most after your first calls? So students, if you're wondering that how do they actually decide how much marks to give you and not, and how to decide who will clear and not, basically, after you give your first call, generally we think that, okay, and many of you all say, sir, why are we just doing first calls? We want to practice consecutive calls also. Of course, it's important. So after your first call, it's okay if your first call is not perfect. Okay, it's okay if it's still broken and not structured properly. Still, if you give a good read back, then you'll get good points. I can say the first call and the read back, they both have equal importance. That's why I emphasize so much. If a read back is good, your mistakes in earlier call could be ignored by the examiner. Are you listening, students? Do you think all this information is going to help you? I want in writing in no Zoom chat from everyone. Other students, I'm trying to, I'm not thinking, but I'm afraid that you're not getting lazy with your videos off and not giving me verbal acknowledgements, because your acknowledgements anyway are a little slower than those with their videos on. So I hope that's not happening, okay? Otherwise, I'll have to make compulsory videos on, which, you know, I'm against restriction. I'm against compulsory rules, you know. I like flexibility and freedom for my students. Bhavin is always generous with his words, you know. And Vignesh, yesterday, I didn't help you at all, but you were like, thank you, sir, with your guy. I was like, I was not unable to help you with your form. Still, you're thanking me. I'm like, I feel so good about it. Thank you. Bhavan is like, sir, definitely these are gold points. How about others? Are you listening? I need verbal confirmation if these points are working for you or not. Now you're making me shout when you're not responding. So when you don't acknowledge, it means you're not listening. So when I think you're not listening, I have to raise my voice so that you can hear me. Because I think you're stopped listening. In your real life also, when you come across people shouting, understand they're shouting because you're not listening to them. So don't blame the other person that he or she is angry or arrogant or lack of control. Understand they're trying to say something you're not understanding. It's easy to blame. That's why acknowledgement is very important, especially in RT. Forget everything else. Still, we are 12, and how many? I've got, I'll tell you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only 7. Do you want me to take names now? What about the 5 students? If you're not following, you can tell me no, right? Are you there or not in class, students? I want verbal confirmation if you're following or not in a Zoom chat. How difficult is that? Written chat confirmation, written. You see, there's a keyboard, touch screen, iPad, a keyboard. YES, yes, enter. NO, no, enter. Should I share screen and show you all how to do it? Finally got 5. And all these good students. Why you're so lazy in acknowledgement? It is one thing that will really, really frustrate your examiner. Okay? Even if he or she will be trying to help you, if you don't acknowledge in time, at least say no. At least say stand by. If you don't acknowledge, then they will not help you. Okay? How difficult is it to acknowledge? This is something very wrong, okay? You have been leading to the session so long, and just because it's been 2 hours without break and 5 minutes extra, you feel exhausted? Are these my future pilots? What if you're given a delay of 2 hours in the air with irate passengers? How will you handle that situation then? What if you have bad weather delay and there's a lot of turbulence, passengers are scared and you cannot land? What if people come in the cockpit, air hostess or someone and says that passengers are worried, please give a message. Will you be quiet? Will you not say anything to the cabin crew? If co-pilot says something to you, sir, what to do, will you be quiet? You'll say stand by. Or you'll say, I'll tell you what to do. Or you'll say, wait, I'm coming. Come on, acknowledgement. I keep begging for acknowledgement yaar, every day. Today, I'm trying to think that this is our final day of final preparation, especially for part 1. And today, for part 1, the most important thing, acknowledgement I'm not getting from half of the class. And I'm being so nice. Is there a grudge that I'm not giving you enough time one-on-one sessions? Is it? Students, I feel like that, okay? I feel like that you're upset and this is a way to just show that. Is that going to help you? Whatever it is, you should talk to me. Don't make me beg for acknowledgement. It's your duty. You want to pass, learn to acknowledge. Write down point number 5. Everyone, as I take your call sign, you will give me a readback of this statement twice. Okay? We'll start with Victor Tango Sierra Juliet Lima.
Acknowledge ASAP within 5 seconds after being spoken to. I say again, acknowledge ASAP within 5 seconds after being spoken. Victor Tango Sierra Juliet Lima.
You missed most important. It's right in front of you, Sajal. Okay? Most important, acknowledge ASAP within 5 seconds after being spoken to. This, when you're repeating second time, you'll repeat in your own language, mother tongue or Hindi, but not in the same words. I want to see if you've understood this or not. Sajal, you'll get a chance to go ahead in the same terms. Your feedback was fine. I'm just saying most important is also important. Otherwise, how will you remember that most important point was most important point? Talking like Sahil right now. Sahil, obviously it's recorded. I would want to hear that. You know, it's a good tongue twister for aviation, I think. So after Sajal, Victor Tango, Juliet, Yankee, Oscar.
Most important, acknowledge SF within 5 seconds after being spoken to. I say again, most important, acknowledge.
Jyotsna, I don't need exact feedback in your second time. In the second time, you have to explain in your own words what you've understood.
Okay, sir. So we have to acknowledge as soon as possible. If there should be no dead air within the 5 seconds. ATC responses for the calls after being spoken.
And it is the most important point.
And it is the most important.
Yes, very good. Papa Kilo Mike.
Most important, acknowledge ASAP within the 5 seconds after being spoken to. We have to acknowledge within the 5 seconds after spoken.
After anyone talks to us over radio, yeah, very good. ASAP means as soon as possible. This is not an RT phrase or RT abbreviation. Okay, this is just a generic term people use, like ROFL and all slangs we use, right? Some abbreviations we don't really know the meanings, but this is good. ASAP, as soon as possible. Sometimes when you're employed and you're working, you're enjoying chilling, After 3 to 4 days of flights, you're like getting a 2-day holiday or 3-day holiday, and you're like happy, nice. So I'm going to fulfill my plans and I'm going to live a good life. Like this is your time, freedom. You finally get freedom from work. You have a lot of money. So what are you going to do? You're going to enjoy life, right? You have good friends, good circle, everything. All of a sudden, you'll get a message or a call. Come back ASAP. And you're like, okay, bye. Tada, bye bye. I have to go. You don't have a choice. You have to cancel your movie tickets, travel plans, everything, and you have to go and please go with the airline. Otherwise, the airline will suffer losses in millions if you don't go, because already a pilot is missing. So they are calling you. And if you don't go, then the passenger will always be ready. But then next day, you'll get in the news that pilot came 2 hours late. Because that pilot is not late. They are not unable to get a, what do we call it? A replacement, basically. Because you were the replacement and you said, no, my travel is more important because I'm looking forward to it. I've spent so much of money, and people and my friends, family, husbands, wives, girlfriends, boyfriends, everything are looking forward and telling me you're not giving time to family and all. So I want to. Then they'll be like, okay, go. We'll see how you grow in the airline then. Go. That's how it will be. So never do that. If you have a genuine reason, then go through the proper channels to explain why you cannot make it and try to arrange for somebody else by yourself if possible. Be proactive so that you show that I am working in the interest of the company. So that is also, you have to be the best employee they have if you want to grow quickly. That's also important. That trait of being a good employee, that's also, it's very rare, you know. I don't have that. That's why I'm self-employed. It's like that. So yeah, I talk to my students about future practical things also. So most important, acknowledge ASAP within 5 seconds after being spoken to. Doesn't matter if it's negative, stand by, positive, affirm, read back, acknowledge. How do you acknowledge? Use Roger if nothing else. Simple. Roger means I have received and understood your message. It doesn't mean a yes or a no. At least the next time I find anyone not acknowledging and making me beg, then I'm just going to feel bad. Come on. I first thought that I'll just threaten you with something like, I'll break the screen, and how will we have lectures then if I don't have operating working screen on the laptop? But then it's destructive. What's the point? No, nothing. Yeah, it's just for you, you know. This is basic. Acknowledgement, if you don't do, then you're not really serious about what you're doing. Trust me on that. And I've seen many people made it a habit that sir to kuch bolte nahi, hum acknowledge kare na kare. But it's about time that you started taking it seriously, you know. You're not kids that I have to hit you and teach you something, right? I give you the chance and space to learn at your own speed. Right? It doesn't mean that you can ignore it. Okay? If I start demanding things from you all, then you'll feel you are in defense or Air Force. If you all want that kind of training, I would love to give you that kind of training. Nakul is like, sir, definitely, sir. Mera Air Force ka sapna bhi pura ho jayega. Anyway, if you're successful and rich in future, you will be able to fly jets. It's not an impossibility. You all don't know, but Sachin Tendulkar is a co-pilot in a fighter jet, approved commander. On sports quota, he got it. Imagine. Tom Cruise, he flies his own jets. Top Gun Maverick, he did all his stunts. Imagine. How risky. So yeah, but you have to be there, you know. Nothing is impossible. People who wanted to do Air Force could not do it. I know the feeling of flying fighter jets. I mean, it's different. Basically, you're flying on an engine and a wing, you know. It's not an aircraft at all. It's a wing and an engine. That's it. Somewhere they made a seat for you. Otherwise, you would be riding that thing as if you're riding a horse, you know. Hold it to save yourself. Otherwise, you're gone. Okay. So remember this. Remember these points. Anything else do you think we can add to these points, students? Share, go through these important points. Others, I'm not asking you to do a read back because I think you've got a gist of it. And I think we are anyway over and above our time. This is your break time. You must be hungry. That being said, what are the other points that are important, especially for part 1? What are the other points? If you take care of these points, students, if you take care of these points, if you ensure that you cover these points, automatically your mistakes will be minimized. The only mistake that you might face would be either something that you have not learned, something that is new, or sometimes some error in structuring, or maybe a basic human error. That is okay. But the number of errors would be reduced. So instead of getting 10 out of 20, you'll end up getting 14 out of 20. So every question, 5 questions, 20 extra marks. That's how you pass. Even on a bad day. Now Likhit is being very watchful. Likhit is saying, sir, 4 Ws. I agree with you. So this, before giving the call, actually it should go to point number 1, but it's okay. We write here, frame the call in your mind, check structure here, 4 Ws. Here, Likhit. Structure, when I say 4 Ws will come there directly. Sahil, go ahead.
Sir, I would like to add an important point.
Speak
while you write.
Speak while
From
you write.
yesterday's
Very
feedback, dead air and all. So you can cover up and frame a better call.
Yeah. So in point number 3, we can add that. Okay. Once the point number 2 check is done, here in bracket, write before point 1. So you do point 2 before point 1. Okay. Start your call with a comfortable rate of speech. Ideally on the slower side, but not too slow. And write couple of words first and then speak to maintain good flow and avoid dead air. And write one more point, point number 6. Simple words. Avoid dead air. Basically, avoid dead air covers up, acknowledgement covers up avoiding dead air. Are you getting it, students? Acknowledgement covers up avoiding dead air. So automatically your dead air will be filled if you follow those points. Acknowledgement point, if you follow, your dead air will go. Having a comfortable rate of speech will follow, your dead air will go. Avoid dead air. Avoid dead air at number 1 in your own call by writing and speaking. When I say writing and speaking, it doesn't mean writing the whole call first and then speaking. That's why I mentioned just a couple of words. In reply to ATC by replying within 5 to 10 seconds. Bracket, practice with 5. Actually, like I said, as per the protocol, 10 seconds is the time. It's actually a radio telephony requirement, the dead air thing. It's not a joke. It's not just to make your call sound beautiful. It's not a decoration. It's a rule. In order to make sure your 10 second is executed in the exam, I make you practice 5 seconds. So that in the exam, under the pressure of anxiety and all, you will be giving more than 5 seconds dead air, trust me. But still, you will be within 10 seconds because somewhere you'll know 5-6 seconds, you will end up giving call. So your worst would be crossing 5 seconds. worst. And even that in your worst, you will end up being within the protocol of 10 seconds. Do you understand what I'm doing here? Do you understand these things, students? Many of the things that I teach you, I don't show you a reason or don't give you a reason why I'm teaching you. If I give you the reason, you'll know the applications, the result of it. The way you perform directly, the result would be guaranteeing a good performance, would be guaranteeing a good result. So please don't take it lightly, okay? Because this is the USP of training. These points again and again I have spoken about. If we have had 38 lectures, then I think I've spoken about these at least in 30 lectures, if not more or less. Because I talk about these things somewhere in bits and pieces every time. And acknowledgement, students. Come on, I've given you so much of freedom to do acknowledgement. Still people are lazy in acknowledgement. Like all you have to do is just this. Sometimes you have to do this. I mean, what? It's like somebody's giving you finger. We are all Indians, right? And you're taking the whole hand. I don't really get that. But good, good. Any more questions before we wrap up? Don't ask the obvious questions, sir. Chutti kab milegi? I'm more worried for your weekend holiday than you are. No questions? Ayush, please go ahead.
If I call to another ATC and reply will be given by another ATC, like I have start my call with Mumbai ground and you have reply given by Delhi ground, then what we do?
So you say Mumbai ground, Air India 123, and ATC says Air India 123, Mumbai Tower. Is that the question?
No, sir. If Delhi ground, look, another station will give me the answer. Like I am calling to Mumbai ground and reply comes from Delhi ground.
So you are at Mumbai airport, Delhi airport, and you're calling Delhi ground, but you're getting a response from Mumbai ground.
Yes, sir.
Ayush, will the two VHF stations be within the range for you to receive? Delhi and Mumbai, they are more than, I think, about 100 nautical miles, less, 900, 800 nautical miles, 900, 800. So how do you think you will get Mumbai radio? It's not possible. Sorry, Mumbai control. It's not possible.
No, sir. I am telling that in my calls, I tell you that Mumbai ground and you reply me with Delhi ground. Then what can I do? I reply simply or
See, if you are calling Mumbai ground and I say I'm Delhi ground, then possibly you are calling the wrong ATC as per your flight plan. So probably you are not at Mumbai at all. You are at Delhi for that particular question and you're supposed to talk to Delhi. But you made a wrong call sign and Delhi is like, what are you doing? You are at Delhi airport. You're tuned to Delhi frequency. So why are you calling Mumbai? I'm Delhi. I'm not Mumbai. That is one way. Okay, you will be notified about it. You'll be like, so practically you think about it. I'm at Delhi airport, so I'm tuned to Delhi airport, Delhi ground frequency. But I say Mumbai ground. So what will they say? Air India 123 negative. This is Delhi ground on 121.9 or something. Then you'll be like, oh, of course. So I've still not clearly understood what's the doubt here. Like, is it this situation or is it something else?
So if I may see.
Yeah, whoever stand by,
Yeah.
Ayush, finish it.
So it's regarding this only. Like I think it happened in pre-flight checks when I think someone called Mumbai ground, but Delhi ground responded. So actually, no one corrected that mistake. I
Which
think
pre-flight check? Today?
Yeah, today pre-flight check. Someone had made a call to Mumbai ground, but Delhi ground had responded instead of that.
Ayush, is
So
that the confusion?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Very nice. I like this. I like this group thing. Very nice. Good job, Bhavin. Very good, proactive, very nice. I was trying to stop you, but you were like, sir, मेरे को पता है, मैं बोल देता हूँ. Very nice. I like that. Very good. So correct the mistake then only. If that happens, correct the mistake. Like you called Mumbai and Delhi responded. So you say, Delhi ground, Air India 123, negative. I say again, Mumbai ground on 121.5, Air India 123. So they will say Air India 123, Delhi ground on 121.5. Change, correction. Contact Mumbai ground on 121.4, like that. They will help you with that if you don't have the frequency. So it was a genuine error. I was sticking to Delhi today, but probably someone said Mumbai and I didn't really remember because I was not writing the call. So maybe I just said Delhi. Maybe I heard Delhi, you said Mumbai because of low readability. I don't know how that error happened, but if that happens, then I've given you the couple of possibilities that you have to fix if that happens. Okay, got it, students? Especially when you call an ATC in the exam, and if somebody else's you get somebody else's reply, then probably you are calling the wrong ATC. Probably. So cross check. That's a hint given to you by the examiner. Sometimes we are disoriented in tracking the flight plan and checking the right ATCs initially. Okay. So some techniques, if things go south, that is not as planned. If unable to write entire ATC reply due to your own reasons. I won't say mistakes. Maybe just you missed hearing it. Maybe you could not hear it properly, or maybe whatever. But this is when it is because of you only, I'm saying, okay? Simply say, now I'm giving blank. This is ATC, okay? Experiencing interference. You say interference, you write QRM. Although you can say QRM also as a Q code, but you say experiencing interference. Read you to. To means now and then. So voice is coming and going. There's some interference in our communication. Say again all. And remember, the examiners could be tired, could be exhausted, could be irritated. Maybe they're trying to help students pass, but nobody has come prepared on that good day that the examiners are frustrated. We as examiners get frustrated when students make silly mistakes. Okay. We really sometimes our blood boils when we see a good, deserving student make silly mistakes. We are like, why? Why are you doing that? Think about it. You are so close in clearing the paper. Why? We are like this. We really want the student to pass. But what do? We cannot cheat, right? So sometimes some examiners, if they sense that good potential in you, they'll try to give you hints, which is allowed. ATC is helpful, right? So these are a few techniques if things go south, like Bhavin mentioned me to remind you all about this. So great. Otherwise, I would have done this in your one-on-one. But good, we are discussing it now. If something goes south, simply use this strategy. If you are unable to hear properly, then, but when you're saying this, in order to make sure that the blood of your examiner doesn't boil in the worst case scenario, say it nicely. How, like I am saying right now, like, for example, Nagpur control, Red Knight 609er, read you to experiencing interference, say again all, like this. Try as if you are trying to talk to a small baby who's crying. At least in that say, especially when you are having a bad day in your first, second calls, and this is happening in the third call, especially. Okay. I'm not sure if you'll be able to do it, but these things are like soft skills. And soft skills, again, I'll tell you a secret, okay, students? The difference between a super successful person and a not so successful, super successful, I'm like billionaires and all, okay? It's not the knowledge, it's not the skills, it's not the investment, not the opportunity. It's all about soft skills. Think about it, okay? In the long term. It's all about soft skills. A person who's good at convincing someone can become a billionaire without any money. In a good way. Those are businessmen are basically those who are having good soft skills. They grow. Other businessmen who are just working regularly in confined growth, they're good businessmen with limited soft skills. Who are those pilots who are union leaders, who are famous, who are managers also? The ones who have good soft skills, plus knowledge on top of that, of course. So knowledge and all over the period of time in your career, knowledge and all will just be the basic requirement. In order to grow, you will need to be a people's person also. Whether you are good at it or not, you think that for your career, you have to act. Simple. You have to learn this and do it for the sake of your career. Whether you are introvert or not, be introvert when you're not at work. But at work, know that being introvert is not going to help me grow. So while at work, I'll try to be social. Simple as that. The way I can. Simple. Like that. Anyway, all those things apart, some techniques, if things go south, not as planned. Okay, good. Yeah, that's it. I don't think anything else is left to cover. In case there are anything else left to cover, I'll discuss with you all. And Sahil, do let me know how do you feel about one live session on a Monday. Do let me know as a private chat. Think about it. Tell me, sir, whether I can attend or not. If yes, then I'll be covering a few more points about part 2 in class. Just part 2, few more points. Otherwise, I'll just share written notes about those parts. But notes will be such that you're able to read and understand. Whenever you're not understanding anything one-on-one, you'll always have to discuss with me. All right. Second thing, Hardik and Harsim. So Harsim, I'm not sure. I'll just check with him. Hardik, tell me when you are ready for your mock. As early as possible, be ready so that we get more time to work on your feedback and improvement areas, if any, because your exam is around the corner. And I was also asking any student who's not willing to give Delhi exam, let me know that you're changing your mind and you want to give next attempt. If that is the case, it's still all right with me. Don't force yourself. Do not take the pressure. Any attempt you give, clear in your first attempt. That's the idea. Simple. All right, students. I hope you all enjoyed the session, and I hope that the hard work that you're putting in, waking up early, 2.5 hours nonstop without any break, I hope that you feel proud of yourselves, because it really takes a lot of courage to be regular. And I see when students do that, give me good attendance and learn, listen, try to be good. I can see sometimes you forget this or that, but you try to learn. So I think you all deserve a good pat on your backs. Collectively, of course, I can see how with all your individual challenges and your other commitments, you are able to do something and reach this point where I can be sure that at least whether you clear or not, at least I know that you are in the right direction, because this is again a small step in a larger goal. Right? So far, so good. Keep it up. I'm just a call text away. Students who need my urgent attention, don't just reply, don't just depend upon me replying on WhatsApp. If it's urgent, call me back to back. If you get 2-3 calls back to back, all you have to do is just spend 1 minute or so. I'll know that you want to reach out back to back. I'll try my best to reach out to you ASAP. But if you're just sending me a message and waiting for a reply, sometimes, it takes 1 or 2 days also for you to get the reply. Sometimes most of the times I read the message, but I realize the reply is not instant. I can give the reply later on also in person in a better way. So I have that. It's not like I don't read your messages, but the reply and all takes time, because sometimes the reply and explanation has to be lengthy, right? So I need time for that. So if you need something urgent, then you can definitely say that. Be on my back multiple times. Don't feel shy. Don't feel ignored. If you call me 3 times, I'm not answering. I say I'll call back in the evening. You can say, sir, can you try it a little more early? I'll say I'll try my best. All in good faith, right? They're like, sir, okay, I can be awake later on. We both will be free. Is it okay if we talk at 2 a.m. in the night? I'm like, sure, why not? I'm free sometimes at 2 a.m. in the night. Right? So ask and you will get it. That's a better strategy than just waiting for me to do it. Because for me, I think you're ready. But if you feel you're not ready, then you have to say that. Got it, students? Okay, everyone? Done? Priyam, such a sad look on your face. Priyam is like, कहाँ सुबह उठा था, कहाँ दोपहर हो गई, सर ने तो पूरा दिन वेस्ट कर दिया मेरा. 11 बोल के 12 बजा दिया. Priyam has that look. How about Hardik, Sahil, Lima Romeo, Charlie, Likhit, Papa Kilo Mike, Sajal, and Jyotsna? What are your reactions? Nukul is exhausted. Vignesh battled his distractions and boredom a lot. I see him do that. And he, I think, waited off his sleep also. RBV, I'm talking about. Lima Romeo, Charlie, though never shows me his face at all. Bhavin, luckily, is today showing me his face again. Nice. Anyone? Any feedback? Jyotsna, Sajal, Pooja, Vignesh, Likhit, Sahil, Hardik. Students without videos. Any doubts? Any questions? Do you feel good? Is everyone feeling good?
Yes, sir.
Affirm, sir.
Affirm, sir.
Hardik,
Affirm,
very nice
sir.
way to say affirm. Hardik like, sir, मेरा 1.5 घंटे पहले एनर्जी खत्म हो गया था. मुझसे क्या एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हो? आपको तो पता ही है. हाँ, Hardik, remember your feedback, okay? I need that energy. With practice, it comes.
Yes, sir.
Hardik is like, yes, but अब नहीं करूँगा, बाद में करूँगा मैं. Hardik, show me before we go. Show me that energy. Give me a good Roger and good end with your call sign.
Roger Victor Tango Hotel Romeo Kilo.
Very nice. See, all that it takes is effort and we can see the change. That's it. Very nice, Hardik. Well done. Very nice. I don't feel like leaving you all, but I have to go. You have to go. So make sure you tell me if you need anything. Hardik, let me know when you feel you want to give. If I want to change your time, I'll change your time after consulting with you. Hardik, you also have to update me about those BCA things. So please do drop me a message if you have gone ahead or not, where you are. Sahil, let me know when we can do your next mock comfortably. I'll confirm the timing, but you let me know when. Then we have Priyam, and first we have Sajal, then Priyam, and then Tripti. Those are first on priority. Others also I'll do quite before only. I'm trying to do your mocks before 31st August. Other students also who are having exams in September. Yes. So Jyotsna, Pooja, Sharvari, hopefully we'll be able to do yours also early. This session, I believe, is something that eventually I would have given you on one-on-one. So we are saving that. So I'm hoping that your next mock or your first mock will not have these errors. So your ultimate agenda right now is not the exam session. Your agenda and your target is that to perform good in your mock that you're going to have with me based upon these points. Based upon these points, as well as a good revision of the total subject matter for calls. Is that clear, students? So we have a task at hand. Today, tomorrow, if you're studying anytime, only thing you're going to focus when you're learning RT, follow these points and guarantee yourself, assure yourself that, yeah, I think all these elements I've taken care of. After that, if you give me a mock, you might surprise me and yourself by really scoring 70, 75, 80 on your first mock. Got it, students? Otherwise, you'll end up scoring 40, 45 on your first mock and I'll give you the same feedback again, then you'll improve it. But you will improve, of course, because you're a good student. Got it, students? All right. So that's it. Sorry if you need, I'll make it up to you in future for these extra 45 minutes, but still I'm giving you extra 2 hours free. So make the most of it. And I'll see you tomorrow. No, I have to see you when I share the new schedule with you all. Yes, for the next week. So be on the standby for that. Be on standby for that. And whatever you feel are your shortcomings, I cannot do this, I cannot do that, I'm unable to do this. Whatever you think, share it with me. I'll help you with those matters also, be it public speaking, confidence, anything, be it health issues, be it anything, anything that is going to be a barrier in you getting what you need with respect to RT license. I'm going to help you with that. Got it, students? All right. See you. All the best. Take care, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Good day, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Have a nice day.
Good day. I think that was Hardik. Good energy, Hardik.
That was me, Victor Tango
Good day,
Sierra
sir.
Alpha Hotel.
Okay, good. Hardik is like, sir, nahi ho raha hai. Hardik, sorry, I'm just kidding. Don't feel bad. Take care, everyone. Okay, I'll see you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.